Today, I want to take you on a journey back to when I was a kid and talk about why I was considered uncool. Hipster. This is also part one of many parts, as I have many stories to tell, so sit your butt down, grab some popcorn. This is gonna be fun. I hope. So you get a quick idea of the kind of kid I was. Have you seen the film Lilo and Stitch? Yeah, I'm basically Lilo. Sadly no Elvis. I did listen to the Pokemon 2000 soundtrack and Bryan Adams though. That's something, I guess. I am an only child born in the beautiful year of 92. And from the moment I could walk and talk, my parents could tell I was a bit unconventional. So out of all the franchises I could have attached myself to, the first one in my life was Thomas the Tank Engine. I just remember my dad happily reading me Thomas books every night. I'm pretty sure he can still recite them to this day. Then I found The Land Before Time and Jurassic Park, and oh boy did I love it! Dinosaurs just, they amazed me, and I just proceeded to beg my parents to buy me all the books so I could just learn everything about them. I wanted to know everything. Once I turned 4 or 5, it was time for school, and I made a bit of a lasting impression on that first day. So I turned up to be surrounded by screaming and crying children, clinging to their parents, and we were actually allowed to bring a toy with us for comfort. So the teacher saw me, bent down, and said, "Oh, that's a nice dinosaur you've got there." And I just replied with, "It's not just a dinosaur, it's actually a Pachycephalosaurus." And she just stared awkwardly at me and then at my parents. Great first day. It wasn't long before the other kids figured out that I was a bit odd, I guess. I remember sitting down and we were all asked what we wanted to be when we grow up. I want to be a footballer. I want to be a nurse, astronaut, hairdresser. I want to be a paleontologist. And of course, everyone turned and stared at me. In school, we had a little miniature house built into the classroom for the classic roleplay game, House. I don't know whether it's a very British thing, but it basically involved pretending to be a happy family. So you'd get a mum, a dad, a brother, a sister or two. What was I? Always the cat or dog. It got to the point where the teacher was telling me off and said I couldn't play in the house if I was an animal. But I didn't want to care for a fake baby or do washing up. I had a similar rule with toys. They all had to be animals. I just wouldn't play with human figures. I also ended up freaking out some of the girls in my ballet class. You heard right, ballet. I mean, have you seen their muscles? They are absolutely ripped. It's awesome. What's also really funny is that my ranking order of careers that I wanted to be, first was paleontologist, second was professional ballet dancer, third was marine biologist, so you see where my priorities are. Being younglings, we were allowed to bring a toy with us. I think my mother was embarrassed by me. She bought me a really expensive ballet Cindy doll and was trying to convince me to take her along. Nope. My dad's mate bought me a 2-foot-long, realistic Jurassic Park Velociraptor plush for my 5th birthday. Yeah, he was coming with me. Of course, all the girls had Care Bears and Barbies. They saw me come in with my Velociraptor, and some of them started crying, and I was told not to bring him along again. Long story short, I ended up quitting because kids can be little gits. But then my dad would read Dinotopia to me at night, and everything would be okay. I also had a fascination with the film Titanic as a kid, and my mother got excited because she thought I was captivated by the love story between Jack and Rose. No, I was actually fascinated by the ship itself. I just couldn't believe that people could build something that massive back in 1912. I was bought a beautiful glossy book on the architecture and design of the Titanic one Christmas, and I would just look at it before bed each night. It was complicated, I struggled to read any of it, but I would just study the pictures in awe. Yeah, even mini-me would like to geek out over machines. With regards to the stuff I used to wear, there were always pictures around the house of me as a 3-year-old or under in lots of pretty dresses that obviously my mother chose for me. But as soon as I could make my own decisions on what I wanted to wear, I looked like I lived out in the wilderness. My dad loved me for the way I was, unconditionally. Thanks, Dad. You the MVP. I just wish I could say the same for my mother. What to take away from all this nonsense? Be who you want to be, no matter what your age. When I was a kid, I didn't care what people thought of me, but as soon as I was made to feel self-conscious of how I should behave or look as a girl, I tried to be someone I wasn't, and to be honest, it completely ruined my teens. Because after turning 17, I slowly started to embrace being myself again, who I wanted to be, and now I can say that the kid in me has returned, and life is far more fun. It's the absolute best.
Whew, so it's finally done. Sorry it took so long, folks. I moved from London back to Wales, then suddenly the nation of personal issues attacked. You know what it's like. I've got some content lined up to release in the next 2 weeks or so don't you worry, there will be stuff. Also, touching on something I mentioned in the video, it's an absolute guilty pleasure of mine to watch Titanic these days. I watched it in the bath 2 weeks ago, yeah, the whole thing. I was so pruned, I couldn't unlock my phone by the end of it. It was like a secret cinema experience, on the cheap, of course. Hashtag no regrets. So do you have any quirky stories from when you were a kid, or did you ever feel pressured into being somebody you didn't want to be? Leave a comment. You know I'll read them because right now the channel only has 200 subscribers. Thanks for the ever-growing support. Obviously this is a new channel and every comment, share, like, subscription, it really helps me out, so thanks for that. Go seize the day and stuff. You've got this.